Hello, Birchwood community. We're entering our 5th week back to school, and things are going well. Just a few updates and announcements. The first one is probably the most important. Coming on October 9th, we will need to know your decision about the second quarter of school. Do you want your children to be in remote learning or to come back to school? You only need to tell us if you're changing. For example, if you're remote and you wish to come back to school, please let us know. Otherwise, we'll assume you will continue in remote learning. And it's important that you keep this date, October 9th, because it's going to take us time to make arrangements if there's a lot of shifting of choice. So that's October 9th. Then you probably should know we will use October 22nd and 23rd. The 23rd is already on the calendar for a day off, for the children a day off, not for the teachers, and it was scheduled for professional development and also for reporting purposes. First report card will be coming out. But now when we're also switching, some will be coming back into school, children, some will be going remote. We need the day before as well. That's that Thursday. So it's the 22nd and the 23rd. There'll be no school. The teachers will be taking care of all the things we need to take care of for the continuance of the school. The second point I want to make is as the weather gets colder and there's less time outside for lunch, for recess, we're stuck inside, and that creates more problems of the necessity to be more careful about hand washing, about masking, about social distancing. And we've got to be vigilant. I've noticed, just as all the other teachers are, as we get back into a routine of our academics and our character development, you get comfortable, this is what we know, it's easy to forget those things. And actually we need to be more attentive to these hygienic practices to prevent the spread of the coronavirus should it even occur at the school. That also applies at home. We have noticed that there was some restrictions in our environment in Cleveland are allowing for more sports activities, more opportunities for children to come together and do different things after school. We would ask you to be vigilant about the types of activities your children are in. Are the people in that activity taking care of social distancing, of masking, so that you preserve your bubble at home to help us preserve our bubble here. All right, the third thing I want to mention to you is we used last Friday was our professional development day, and it was all dedicated to technology, improving our instructional delivery to children in school and to remote children. And it was quite successful. We're getting better and better. As I mentioned the last few weeks, this is a learning process, and we're paring away the things that are not useful and adding things that are. And I think you'll see some adjustments to those families whose children are currently in remote learning. I'm making a second video that I'd like you to pay attention to, some very important adjustments that we think are going to help learning, the child's learning, and our efficiency at providing an excellent education. Let's see, a couple of problems cropped up. The children are on the Chromebook, and we had just a plethora of chatting online and even gaming while a teacher was teaching, while there was some kind of small group or larger group activity remotely. And so we're going to be quite hard-nosed about this. This is, children chatting or children watching a game is not unlike a child who would get up out of their seat, walk around, throw spitballs, play with other kids while the class is going on. It's the same thing. We won't allow it. And if it persists with any child, then we will first take away their Chromebook, and they'll have to have their own access to the remote learning. And if it persists after that, they won't be able to do remote learning. They'll do what we call a correspondence course, an old-fashioned correspondence course where you get the textbooks and you'll get assignments, and then you mail them back into us back and forth like that. We have to preserve the integrity of everything that we're doing and the quality as well. And it was very, very few students involved, but we just want you to be aware. We want to drop a hammer down if it's out of nowhere. You have to have some context. We're trying to preserve the integrity of the instruction that's being done remotely. And that brings up the last point. One of the, our mission says is we're preparing children for a becoming life, giving them the skills and the attitudes and the habits through the development of intellect and character. Now, most of the time in our setting at Birchwood School with our families, most of the time is for children to look at advantages and opportunities to grow in academics, in athletics, in music, in art. You're growing, you're looking for new things to do. But, you know, very, very often in life, you're caught in an environment that does not allow you to do what you want to do. And so then the narrative comes, not grasping opportunities because you're restricted, but rather, how do I change to make the most out of this environment for myself and for those around me? So in this kind of restrictive environment, we have to coach our kids. We're doing that at school, especially with the older kids. I'm not too sure younger children can understand this yet. But okay, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. What can we make good out of this? Take it in a positive sense. What can we make positive for us? And how can we be an agent of positivity to others? An agent of encouragement, of strengthening, rather than letting the environment cause us to be distraught, frustrated, anxious, disappointed. It's a mindset that we typically do not have to face in our country. Maybe the poorer sectors of our population do, but generally our population at Birchwood does not. And rather than fighting against the environment right now, I think it's a good time to teach our children, even about other people and other places, the restrictions on their lives. And now we have a little restriction, all the things we have to do for safety and hygienic protocols, and all the other things that are impinging upon how we like to do things. This is a great time to say, no, how about we look at things differently, as opposed to fighting against the environment? And I think we can create a different kind of happiness and joy with our children if we guide them in this direction. All right, so again, if you are currently a parent of children in remote learning, 5th through 8th grade, 1st through 4th, we're kind of happy with. 5th through 8th, we're making some adjustments. Or if you think you might want to do remote learning in the 2nd quarter, then please take time to watch the video that I prepared to explain our changes. All right, have a wonderful week.